Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, by leaving 2 comments, or by subscribing if you have not done so already. It does indeed help with the algorithm. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome back to another, I want to say news I missed. It's more like there's been so much extra news during the course of the week. Here's the news now from the other part of the week that I couldn't give you in the beginning part of the week. Jump right into it. At the moment, it says Bitcoin has added nearly $5,000 since its dip 2 days ago, but its dominance is well below 60% as Ether and other altcoins have surged in value. That's right, I think logic maybe made it into the market. The news that we've had for the last couple of days is that Bitcoin was struggling, Bitcoin was slow, Bitcoin was Bitcoin was and Bitcoin had to regain or reclaim certain price levels. And also the news that we got yesterday was that we were seeing the expiration of Bitcoin options. And I believe it was one of the most massivest, largestest amount that we had ever seen in our entire lives. And therefore it could have a negative effect on Bitcoin's price. But alas, we've risen by $5,000. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, it's actually kind of nice. Anyway, the point is, the market is recovering. Bitcoin is back up. I think around like 4 or 5%, somewhere around at this point. A lot of other altcoins are up by around 7%, 12%. Is nice to see the entire thing in green. On top of that, there's a lot of news like this floating around, and I think I get where it's coming from, but it's still kind of a lot. There's no Ethereum price news. There's no Cardano price news. There's never any Litecoin price news, but a lot of XRP price predictions almost every single day, and I'm not really sure where they're coming from. It says analyst predicts XRP could rally 8 times or do an 8x if it reaches a certain resistance point. And I read through the article. The resistance point basically being where we were before the dip. And that was, I think XRP went to 76 cents, 78, somewhere around that kind of number. And that's when the SEC came out and they were like, we don't like you, you're a security. And then the price ended up falling back down. So apparently that's the number that we have to hit for XRP to do an 8x. I don't know how likely that is. I mean, it would be wonderful to see any coin go up by that much. 8x? Not really too sure. And we keep getting this news as well. It says massive Coinbase outflow suggests Bitcoin price is ready to bounce. I think there's maybe even 1 or 2 other articles in this actual video as well that kind of mimic the exact same thing. There's a lot of Bitcoin bounce news, and it's not like a Bitcoin reclaiming, 55,000, 56,000 kind of news. It's like, no, Bitcoin is like preparing to massively surge upward because companies and institutions and other things you'll see have been buying Bitcoin over the course of the last couple of weeks, and therefore this is going to have a positive price increase movement thing that's going to happen to it. And on top of that, just to finish off the beginning of the video, Likey or Licky, I don't know how to pronounce that, and sure, if you can tell me how, that'd be great. It's Lykke. See, it could be like, it could be Likey. It could be Leak. A cryptocurrency exchange based out of Switzerland is the first exchange that has decided to relist XRP. This was said by their CEO, Richard Olson, on Twitter. And he said, and I do quoteth, "We are thrilled to relist XRP. Bridging the gap of traditional finance within the world of blockchain is our mantra. And hashtag XRP is foundational to achieving this goal. It is a milestone that regulation allows us to relist, a big step forward." So they delisted it on the 18th of January because of the SEC. However, I don't think they ever really had to delist it, as far as like they're not based in the US. I think a lot of what the SEC has claimed, at least that they have a problem with, is that US customers were allowed to have access to XRP. But even then more so, it's that Ripple gave them access to it and not the actual cryptocurrency exchanges. So anyway, the point is, here's the actual tweet for it right here. "We are thrilled to relist XRP, everything I just said." So cool. This also could be the reason why XRP has been moving up. I don't, explicitly dig through the trenches for a huge amount of XRP news, but it's kind of just always there. I assume other crypto exchanges will have to follow through with this as well. especially if the SEC says so. But maybe that's the reason for the 8x news. I don't know. That would be a $5.60 XRP if it 8x's from the previous barrier level or whatever the word actually is. Sure. Why not? I mean, we'll see eventually. We'll see by the end of summer, because that's how time works. And without further ado, let's move right on. Let's jump right into this. I think I'm losing my English. Next up, once again, we are in part 2 of 2017. The hype around NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, refuses to die down, and regulators are taking notice. Replace NFT with ICO, and you got the exact same thing. SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce has warned investors yesterday that some NFTs could be considered unregistered securities under certain circumstances. She said the whole concept of a non-fungible token is it's supposed to be non-fungible. So it's supposed to be unlike anything else, Peirce said during a Security Token Summit webinar. Which means that it's, I think, in general, less likely to be a security, but people are being very creative in the type of NFTs they're putting out there. It's a wonder what some people will pay for. And so I think, given that creativity, as with anything else, you should be asking questions. So, once again, 2017, roughly around this time of year, once again, 2 months further. Like, I feel like everything is 2 months off from where we were. Anyway, that's when the SEC started saying, first of all, the SEC only took notice of the ICO market because people were making too much money. And I don't mean like a little bit of money. Like Ethereum also had an ICO when they first launched in 2014 to 2015, but they made like 1.6 million. It was a drop in the bucket, if you will. What happened is that eventually, when other people started making ICOs in 2017, they were making 16 million. They were making 45 million. And then EOS, I think, made $4 billion with the B, and they went, hey, we want our slice of the pie as well. So I assume if the NFT market had more realistic numbers, art selling for 3,000, 15,000, maybe even Beeple's work just selling for $500,000, we would not have any SEC related activity coming into the space. I read something yesterday. What was it? And it's such a shame because, one, they're in a bubble. Don't know if I told you that before. I'm pretty sure I did. Two, the investor in me would love to be able to make insane amounts of money, but I know that the space is in such a bubble, it doesn't make any sense to kind of sell these things. There was it was like yesterday. Someone made, oh my gosh, what was it? It was an NFT, of course, but I forgot exactly what the image was. And I think he ended up selling it for like $500,000 over it took like an hour for the auction. And I was like, can you imagine just making like the people who are taking other people's works and even putting them onto these NFT platforms and making $5 million in one day and just taking off all the money? So I guess the point to be made here is, this is now the third time that Hester Peirce has come forward discussing, NFTs and, their risks and stuff like that and being securities, because the issue was in 2017 once again was that many YouTubers were promoting ICOs and other influencers on social media were promoting ICOs and they were getting paid for it, and they were not aware at all that they were promoting and or selling anything that would be considered a security, because people did not simply think of what a security was back then. Anyway, that's the NFT news. It's not all of it. I did, and not joking, I did think about actually after this one, putting a whole bunch of different tabs just to show you all the NFT news, because it's all nonsensical. It's completely nonsensical. That robot woman, I forgot her name, like an actual robot, like not like a fake. I think she made a piece and that sold for $500,000. Somebody else sold like a picture of a Lego for I think $125,000. It just boggles the mind. Once again, what people would be willing to pay for. So anyway, that's the NFT potentially securities news, and let's move on. Now, here's the mega popular news right now that's constantly floating around because we're getting a mimic once again of what we've gotten before from other analysts, if you will. It says Bitcoin has picked up its bullish momentum in the last 24 hours. High levels of institutional adoption. Fundamentals and on-chain indicators look bullish and point to an extension of the rally, at least in the long term. In a recent report, senior commodity strategist for Bloomberg Intelligence, his name is Mike McGlone, stated that Bitcoin is in a transition phase. As a result, the benchmark cryptocurrency could move from being a risk asset to becoming a global reserve asset. Where have we heard that before? About 1,000 other times. Comparing the rhythm of Bitcoin's 2017 bull market to the current one, McGlone estimates that Bitcoin's price peak could be around $400,000 by the end of this year. In the chart below, he notes a correlation between surges in the cryptocurrency's price and a rise in its liquidity index. There's a chart right here. I tried to make it larger and it just didn't work. Normally, when you make another page for the actual thing, it kind of blows it up, but alas, no. But here's the chart for those of you who are actually looking at the screen. In late 2020 and early 2021, it can be seen how the latter metric has seen significant growth as recent Bitcoin price action and the approval of several ETFs in Canada have had an impact on Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. The product has been one of the most favored for institutional adoption. However, its premium has trended lower in recent days. On the relationship between Bitcoin's price and the drop in Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust premium, McGlone said bullish underpinnings for Grayscale are gaining legs as it outpaced Tesla by almost 50% this year. The increasing profitability for Bitcoin ETFs in the US is supporting the price, but contributing to the GBTC discount. There's a lot of news about Grayscale's discount on their actual fund right now and what this means for the price of Bitcoin. As far as I've been able to see and look around and tell, everyone's talking about that this is actually quite bullish as more money, as it's just a lot. And something about more Grayscale shares are going to be unlocked in the future, and this will benefit Bitcoin's price. Very, very popular article right now. Talking about exactly how big Bitcoin is going to be and where Bitcoin is going to go. Bitcoin can reach $400,000 in 2021 as risk-off reverse asset. This is now, I believe, the highest that we've received for this year. The lowest being, I think, 125,000. The next one being 288,000. And now this one at 400,000. So I think we'll fall somewhere maybe in between. But once again, I still feel like we are being artificially, it's not organic, artificially held down in price because all this adoption and even the other stuff I'm going to talk about, we should be well above 100,000. I know it sounds like a broken record, but you have to get the amount of adoption that's actually taking place. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left. I read an article as well. It was discussing saying that whatever. I realize now that I should have just had it in the video, saying that there were discussions between companies and other people telling other people hey, you should be getting into the Bitcoin space because they are estimating that within the next 5 to 10 years, mega companies, huge companies that we know right now will be fighting other companies just to be able to acquire half of a Bitcoin if they can even afford that much. So gonna be quite fascinating indeed. Anyway, that's the Bitcoin price prediction, $400,000 Bloomberg News. And let's move on. Next up, in news that should send Bitcoin skyrocketing, but I don't think there's that much logic in the market. News that sovereign wealth funds are making a play for Bitcoin, which Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal has on good authority in Singapore's Temasek, is the logical conclusion both of macroeconomic policy and the rebuilding of financial infrastructure thanks to the rise of digital assets. Singapore has two sovereign wealth funds. They are GIC and Temasek, which is some of the world's largest non-carbon derived funds. The two funds have different strategies. One is less risk averse. The other one is super risky, if you will. Notably, GIC led the investment round into Chartered Digital Assets Bank, Anchorage, telegraphing that digital assets are here to stay. and the bank itself is in a safe infrastructure play. They said Temasek and other government funds have been making strategic investments into companies that operate digital exchanges or issue security tokens and digital assets. Professor Joseph Cherian of the National University of Singapore Business School told Blockworks, the reason for sovereign wealth and government funds' foray into digital assets is because they represent the future. For example, liquid assets that were once out of reach of small investors' hands now become available to these segments of society as well. This is not the first time that we've had news like this. Remember, we had news that I believe it is the Sovereign Retirement Fund. I want to say Norway. I always think of Norway in my head, and I'm not really sure why. That they had also, people were figuring out that they also had exposure to Bitcoin as well. And I think everyone in Norway, therefore, owns like 0.003 Bitcoin or something like that, because I think that sovereign fund has also invested in Grayscale, and therefore it belongs to the people, retirement fund, what have you, so on and so forth. So the news is now that one of Singapore's wealth funds for the country has actually invested in Bitcoin. There's no number anywhere because I assume that is going to be extremely... wait. It is Norway. Woo, I did it. Wealth funds, 1.3 trillion, over 20 sovereign wealth funds with assets over 60 billion. Okay, interesting. Here's the actual article about Raoul Pal talking about that sovereign wealth funds are looking to buy Bitcoin. Here's the actual article of them saying that they actually have already started purchasing Bitcoin, which means that if we know for a fact that at least 2 of them are doing it, we can assume that there are at least 5 other countries on the planet out of 193 or whatever who are also doing the exact same thing. The other article, the CEO of New York Digital Investment Group, or New York DIG, Robert Gutmann, has revealed that sovereign wealth funds are making inquiries about investing in the flagship cryptocurrency, which means that they're going directly to them. According to Cointelegraph, Gutmann's words come came during a conversation with former Goldman Sachs Raoul Pal in a podcast. Gutmann said that NYDIG has been having conversations with sovereign wealth funds about Bitcoin investments. I'm certain at this point that every government is in it in some sort of way. It may be either direct or indirect exposure, depending on how intelligent the people actually are. As far as like, I feel like people who are investing in things that represent Bitcoin as opposed to the actual Bitcoin are going to be very angry somewhere down the line. This is just kind of how I'm feeling. It makes a lot more sense to hold the actual asset or have someone else custody the asset, but at least you know it's in your name, as opposed to having a form of security that is issued because you wanted to be able to, or you understand what I'm saying. It just doesn't logically make a lot of sense. Like, if you want the gold, hold the gold. Don't hold a piece of paper that says like you have 1 gold. It doesn't really make any sense. But alas, here we are. Everyone's in the game right now. If you think they're not, you are lying to yourself. We have the little people, the retail investors. We have banks. We have central banks. We have governments who are mining Bitcoin right now. And now, allegedly, according to all the news, we have sovereign wealth funds who are also buying into anything crypto or trying to get some type of exposure to Bitcoin, whether it be directly or indirectly. But once again, in a couple of years, don't tell me or anyone else that you simply did not know that these things were happening. You can't. You are well aware. This is why I bring you the news, because it gets crazier and crazier every day. There's no way on this planet that we can have accurate news that there are countries mining Bitcoin. We had news a month ago that there are multiple countries who are transacting in Bitcoin amongst themselves. They are mainly countries who are under sanctions. But the fact that they're using Bitcoin as a movement of value over the US dollar is incredible. Anyway, Bitcoin is still undervalued. And without further ado, let's move on. And to finish things off, and probably one of the smartest news stories that we're going to have for a while, the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, has signed a bill meant to incentivize cryptocurrency miners to set up shop in their state. The new law provide sales and use tax exemption on the tangible personal property directly used and the electricity used in commercial mining of cryptocurrencies, and amends the state's utility gross receipts license tax to exempt electricity used or consumed in the commercial mining of cryptocurrency. Intelligent. The timeline of the bill shows that it was first introduced to the state's House of Representatives on the 8th of January. It was passed on the month earlier, whatever, signed into law on the 25th of March. It was overwhelmingly approved by lawmakers in early March. I've said this before, and it's Kentucky, it was Iowa, I think it was Washington State, and some other place in the states. The first movers will get the most money. How do you get people to move to your state, to your country, to your province, to your town? You say, hey, do what you were already planning on doing in the state that you live in, but do it here. We'll give you tax breaks. Your tax rate will go lower. You won't be charged on this. You won't be charged on that. That's how you get people to go, well, trucks are a thing. Pack up all their stuff, and they end up going away. It's like years ago when we heard about the BIT license in New York. And there were, I think, 26 companies who had applied for it. And I think after 4 years, 8 companies got it. And it's like, you're not really using your brain when you're thinking about how to actually try and get money into your state. So the point is, good job. I do give you a golf clap. I think it's absolutely amazing. The cryptocurrency space is not going to disappear, disperse, shorten, whatever, anytime soon. So I expect to hear by the end of next year, there's going to be some type of gigantic Bitcoin mining facility, whether it be above ground or below ground inside of a bunker, and people, really trying to protect it inside of Kentucky because it just makes a lot of sense. Anyway, very, very smart. Here's the actual statute of it right here. It's 3 pages, not too long. Yeah. All right. I do hope you all enjoyed. The prices are currently up. It's looking kind of good. Bitcoin's at 54,814. Ethereum's at 1,692. Binance Coin is up by 4. Polkadot is up by 4. XRP is like up. Do you see this? It's like a shark. It's all over the place. It has no idea where it's going. Litecoin's up by 3. Chainlink is up by 4. Oh boy. Filecoin is up by 36%. Clayton, that's the name of the coin, is up by 10%. It's the number 15 coin. That logically makes sense. Dogecoin is up by 6%. I guess Elon Musk must have sneezed really hard. VeChain Thor is up by 13%. Uniswap is up by 8%. Solana is up by 13%. Kusama is up by 15%. BitTorrent token is up by 22%. EOS is up by 8%. Weird. There's never any EOS news anymore. There's never any EOS news. What happened to Voice? Very, very, very weird. FTTX token is up by 4%. NEM is up by 2. NEO is up by 3.8. Algorand is up by 3.5. Hedera bar hashgraph bar is up by 5.3. Pancake Swap is up by 14%. Elrond Gold is up by 9. Dash is up by 3. And Decred is up by 4. Phantasmagorical. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that I thought so. Have a good Saturday. Enjoy your day as best you can. If you are still at home, find a good movie. Call a friend. Video chat a friend. Do something a friend. Make sure to do something that makes you smile today. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See